at the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum in Oakland, California. It's the Detroit Lions and the Oakland Raiders. Hello, everybody. I'm Lindsey Nelson with Paul Horning here in Oakland. We have a wet field. The Detroit Lions, Paul, changed quarterbacks a while back, and they've done well.
They sure have. Gary Danielson out of Purdue has really gained respect from the National Football League Detroit Lions. 3 out of the last 4 weeks, he's produced a victory for the Detroit Lions. He is going to be one of the good quarterbacks in this league.
They have a defensive lineman, a rookie, who has 20.5 sacks.
Lindsey, he may be the best defensive lineman in the National Football League right now. 6'6", 265 pounds. They love him. Big Bubba Baker.
And the Oakland Raiders, well, they're just the Oakland Raiders. And when you talk about them, you talk about fellas like Stabler and Casper.
And when you talk about Kenny Stabler's, folks, there's a lot of criticism been given to Kenny this year. He's got a league-high 23 interceptions. But believe me, that's the guy you want when you want to put points on the board, especially in the last 2 or 3 minutes of the half or going down to the last 2 minutes of the football game. He is electric. They can score from anywhere. And, of course, Dave Casper, the best tight end in the business.
The Oakland Raiders are on the field. And it's going to be Ray Guy teeing the ball up on the 35-yard line. And here are the officials. Ben Drice, the referee of this crew of Boylston, Glover, McElwee, Javy, Ward, and Millette.
Kane and Calicut will be deep for the Lions. Ray Guy kicking off for the Raiders.
Now you see that's what they call stick 'em, folks. That's Jack Tatum, the free safety for Oakland. He puts it on his ankles. This team, I guess, uses more stick 'em than any team in the National Football League. Freddie Biletnikoff, I guess, is the #1 user of stick 'em in all of pro football.
That's Rick Kane deep along with Ken Calicut to receive the kickoff from Ray Guy. Game time temperature 55.
Beautiful kick.
And it's taken in the end zone, but it will not be run out, as the election of Rick Kane is to take the touchback. 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line. The offense now. Gary Danielson at quarterback. Dexter Bussey and Horace King, the running backs for the Detroit Lions. Luther Blue, Fred Scott, David Hill are the receivers. The offensive line, Baldschweiler, Elias, Terry, Bodine, and Oates. 1st and 10 as Gary Danielson brings them up. He is 118 for 211, 56%, 1 touchdown and 7 interceptions. So on the first play, Dexter Bussey tries to lunge up there, and he picks up about 1 yard and maybe 2 out to the 22. Here's the defense now. Matusak, Sistrunk, and Filio is starting. And Hendricks, of course, is a linebacker. And a good one. Monty Johnson, Willie Hall, Phil Filippiano, linebackers for the Oakland Raiders. The deep men are Hayes, Jackson, Phillips, and Tatum. 2nd down and 8 yards to go. Detroit Lions at the 22-yard line. Bussey and King are the setbacks. This is Horace King. Stopped just short of the 25-yard line. Gain of 3 yards, and it was John Matusak on the tackle along with Willie Hall.
Oakland will alternate a few defensive linemen in there. Mike McCoy will come in and play nose guard for Otis Sistrunk, but they like to keep fresh linemen in the football game. They will be in a 3-4 defense most of the time. And, Lindsey, we've seen Oakland go into that 4-3 on passing situations, trying to get those big guys to rush the passes.
They have Lawrence Gaines in there now for Horace King. Danielson's waiting for the snap. Danielson has the ball. Penalty mark at the line of scrimmage. Pass is intercepted at the 40-yard line. Picked off by Jack Tatum. And Tatum has run out of bounds. But there is a penalty marker at the line of scrimmage to be checked out.
Jack Tatum playing free safety, just laid back there, Lindsey. He saw Gary Danielson looking to his right, and as good free safeties do, the penalty is against Detroit. It'll cost him a turnover, and here it is again. Let's take a look. Watch the play action now. No blitz. Here comes Ted Hendricks jamming up the outside. Now he will continue on the pass rush. Here comes the pass rush. 72's Matuzak makes him hurry the throw. And it was intended for David Hill, but it was right in the arms of Jack Tatum.
The call was illegal motion against the Detroit Lions. It was, of course, declined by the Oakland Raiders, who want the football, and they get it on Tatum's interception. 1st and 10 at the 38-yard line of the Detroit Lions. Stabler, the quarterback. Handing it off to Mark Van Egan, his leading rusher. Van Egan stopped just short of the 35-yard line, caught the 36 for 2. Second down and 8. Doug English and John Woodcock made the tackle. Now it's Stabler, Whittington, and Van Egan in the backfield for the Oakland Raiders. Branch, Bradshaw, and Casper. Biletnikoff will begin there from time to time. Shell, Upshaw, Dalby, Marvin, and Lawrence, the offensive line. Second down, 8 yards to go. Oakland at the Detroit 36-yard line. Early in the ball game here at the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum. Rather delay to Whittington, and the SMU rookie is down at the 34, but there's a penalty marker thrown in. John Woodcock on the tackle. Holding against the Oakland Raiders. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League, is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Oakland Raiders and the National Football League prohibited.
Offensive holding, number 63.
Gene Upshaw, guilty of the infraction, and that puts the ball back at the 46-yard line and makes it second down and 18 yards to go.
Lindsey, the most interesting matchup here this afternoon will be Art Shell, the perennial all-pro left tackle, 6'5", 275, going against the rookie phenom from Detroit, Al Baker. Baker has 20 and a half sacks credited to him. That's high in the league.
Stabler retreats. Penalty marker's thrown. It's complete to his tight end, Dave Casper. And Casper is struggling inside the 20-yard line. There is a marker on the tackle, Jimmy Allen.
Oh, excellent timing that time on the check out the penalty first. It might be against Detroit here. I see some
Defensive holding, number 59. Decline the penalty.
Charlie Weaver.
Watch the beautiful timing on this pass. Now, he gets rushed here, but he knows Dave Casper is doing a square out. Right here, you see him throw the football before Dave Casper made his break. He was covered by Weaver. He was also held by Weaver back about the line of scrimmage. First down, Oakland.
That was the 41st catch of the year for Dave Casper, who leads the tight ends in the National Football League. He's out just for the moment now. Raymond Chester's in. First and 10 for Oakland at the 20-yard line of the Detroit Lions. Let's leave this one on the ground, and it is Arthur Whittington jitterbugging his way up to the 17-yard line. Woodcock coming and make the tackle, along with Paul Newmouth. Here's the defensive line now. Purifoy, Woodcock, English, and Baker. That's for the Detroit Lions. Newmouth, O'Neill, and Weaver are the linebackers. And Williams, Bradley, Burns, and Allen are deep.
There's John Madden on the sidelines talking to his assistant coaches up in the box.
Second and 7 at the 17. Van Egan and Whittington are the setbacks. Across and back. Baker. Penalty markers thrown.
Let's see if Art Shell moved.
Might have, as Baker made his move, but
well, if he doesn't come in contact with any offensive lineman, he has the opportunity to get back before the ball is snapped.
Start offense, number 63.
It's Upshaw.
Upshaw, right. That'll make it second down and 12 as the ball moves back to the 22-yard line. There is no score. We're early in the ball game. The lights are on here in Oakland, California. We had rain all morning long. Bradshaw in a wide right. Cliff Branch in a wide left. Whittington. Penalty marker is thrown. We've had a lot of penalty markers early in this ballgame. Charlie Weaver made the tackle.
Let him play.
Just short of the 15-yard line.
Jimmy Allen's clapping his hands, indicating holding.
Holding against Oakland.
Let's bring you up on a few scores with 20 seconds to go. Philadelphia leads the New York Giants now 19-17. Cleveland having no trouble with Baltimore. Third quarter 31-10. Tampa Bay just blowing out Buffalo 31-10. There it is. That's
Holding.
a final now.
Offense, number 65. 6'5".
That's Mickey Marvin, the right guard, caught for holding.
It is second and 22 now at the 29-yard line. Here's a final. New England Patriots 19, the New York Jets 17.
And they were behind that whole football game, came back in the fourth quarter to win it.
Second down play coming now, second and 22. Well, his intended receiver was on the ground. It was tight end Raymond Chester who was down. He had slipped. We may have a lot of that sort of thing today because it is a wet field. Paul Newmoff and Ed O'Neill covering defensively. 3rd and 22 at the 29.
It's still a lot better footing, I believe, than artificial turf. There's a final. San Diego beat the Minnesota Vikings 13-7.
And that points up what will happen in Denver later today when the Denvers go against the Green Bays.
Yeah, it gives Green Bay a little breathing room, Lindsey.
It does. As of this moment, pending the outcome of their game, they lead by a half game. 3rd and long. Stabler pumps once and goes long, and it is incomplete. Morris Bradshaw, the man for whom it's intended. Luther Bradley, the #1 draft choice of the Detroit Lions and former Notre Dame All-American, covering defensively.
A little pressure put on Stabler. He was on the seat of his pants after he released the football. End zone shot from behind the offense. Stabler, of course, he stays in that pocket, folks. He don't try to run out of it. One little pump fake, and he throws it out of bounds. Luther Bradley, the #1 draft choice for the Lions, on the coverage.
Ray Guy's in deep punt formation. It's almost a crime to have Ray Guy punt this close. He may kick it out of the stadium.
Oh, the line of scrimmage is the 29-yard line.
He tries to scrib it and does. Gets it out of bounds, and it's being lined up along the sideline at the 8-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Lions.
21-yard punt. That'll bring his average down, Lindsey. He's 2nd in the league now in punting with the behind David Jennings of New York. Only 0.2 of a point, but he's still the best.
Announcing a whole new breed of Mustang for '79. The turbocharged Mustang from Ford. With the performance of an optional turbocharged engine that took Mustang from 0 to 50 in an average of 7.1 seconds. Precise handling from sports car features and more. Mustang Turbo in 3-door and 2-door models. Capture one at your Ford dealer now.
This is the Kmart 672, Kmart's best car battery. Like another leading premium battery, the 672 is calcium lead constructed. Like one other premium battery, it's truly maintenance-free, completely sealed so you never add water. But the 672 has one other feature you'll find only in Kmart automotive products. The 672, Kmart's best battery, is Kmart priced.
The Detroit Lions have the ball. They have it 1st and 10 at their own 8-yard line as their quarterback, Gary Danielson from Purdue, brings them up. They move David Hill over to the left side. This is King carrying. Finds some running room as he bursts out to the 14-yard line. Mike McCoy in to make the tackle. Along with Monty Johnson, you'll see Mike McCoy and Otis Sistrunk alternating in there at the nose guard throughout the afternoon.
3rd quarter, Cleveland. The Baltimore has put 7 more on the board. They've cut it to 14. Lindsey, this is the youngest starting offensive team in all of the National Football League. There's not one guy that started today for Detroit that has over 5 years experience in the National Football League. And the left side of that offensive line, the center, left guard, and left tackle are rookies.
Horace King. He got it out there to the 18-yard line for Ford. It's very close to the first down. They'll take a long look here now. Charles Filyaw made the tackle. He started in place of Dave Browning at the defensive tackle. 1st and 10. He got the first down. Danielson brings him up now. And he is sending Fred Scott far to the right side. This is next to Bussey. Bussey cuts and drives at the 22-yard line. He got 4. It'll be 2nd down and 6 yards to go. Mike McCoy came in to make the tackle. Jesse Thompson did not make the trip with the Detroit Lions. He's had an ankle injury. He, of course, is a star at the University of California in Berkeley nearby, but did not make the trip.
And the trip caused some complaints on the part of the Detroit Lions. They were stuck in the airport Friday. They were supposed to come out here to California Friday, work out Saturday. They had to stay out at a motel near the airport, and they had a little malfunction with some of the airplanes, and they came in Saturday morning.
Danielson now, play action, and he is chased out of the pocket. Throws it complete to Dexter Bussey, and Bussey is at the 24-yard line. There's a marker on the field. McCoy made the tackle, and Danielson has a little haberdashery trouble.
The Tusac helping Danielson up. I think it was he who put the rush on, and they're going to go against the Detroit Lions here. Indication clipping, Linz.
So this will be stepped off against the Lions.
You know, Monty Clark has changed the whole thinking as far as I think the Detroit Lions is concerned. This was always a very loose group. I mean, the players were loose. Not anymore. I think he's got the respect.
Offense, personal foul, clipping, number 38.
That is Lawrence Gaines.
Let's see if we can pick it up. Watch Lawrence Gaines right here coming in. And just hit him in the back.
And that's a no-no. It's second down and 20. At the 12-yard line. No score. 9 minutes, 50 seconds left in the first quarter. Bussey. Well, just stumbling forward, trying to keep his balance, and he got to the 20-yard line. Mike McCoy was the man who undercut him, and Monty Johnson wrapped him up.
Getting back to that one thought I was talking about, Lindsay, I think Monty Clark has changed the idea. He's a strict coach, and he has the attention now of all the Detroit Lions. They know he's very, very serious about the game of football, and I think this is going to be a much more serious type of a football team in the future.
Well, he did something else. He decided if you're going to build, you might as well get to the young folks early, and that's what he did.
Right.
Third and 12. Toomey is in there now defensively for the Oakland Raiders. But again, they leave this one on the ground, and Toomey, but then the tackle, a fumble, and Oakland is recovered. Oakland recovers the fumble. Dexter Bussey carried the ball, and Monty Johnson got it at the 22-yard line.
Monty Johnson comes up with Oakland's second turnover. Here's a little trap play. You see the guard, Homer Elias, on the trap. Now, he has control of the football. He's hit from behind, and you really can't see it from this angle, but he does cough up the football, and Pat Toomey has it.
Here's to good friends. Tonight is kind of special.
Hey, where you been? Well, it wasn't easy getting tickets for this game. Hey, Bob. Teddy, I know exactly what I want. I want the biggest steak you got and a bottle of Lowenbrow. Steak and Lowenbrow. Dolan, you're a genius.
When you want the taste of a truly great American beer, tonight, let it be Lowenbrow.
Here's to the chef. Here's to the bartender.
I'm John Kelly, a tire engineer, and this is the Firestone 721 radio, a tire we have so much confidence in, we're backing every 721 sold for the rest of this year with this guarantee. If a Firestone 721 becomes unserviceable within 2 years because of defects in workmanship or materials, we'll replace it free. Only road hazard and in-service abuse are excluded. The Firestone 721. We're so confident we guarantee them for 2 full years.
Harold Robbins' bestseller, The Pirate, becomes a powerful television event. Starting Tuesday on CBS, Harold Robbins' The Pirate.
And St. Louis, it is final. St. Louis 27, Washington 17, that's a final.
On Monty Johnson's fumble recovery, first and 10 at the 22 for the Oakland Raiders. Van Egan, Mark Van Egan drove to the 19-yard line. Ed O'Neill, the middle linebacker, in to make the tackle again at 3, makes it second down and 7 yards to go.
Lindsay, with Washington losing, and Dallas is ahead of New Orleans in the third quarter, 21-7. They hold on. I'd say that's going to set up a Thanksgiving Day match right here on CBS. It's going to be Washington down in Dallas, Thanksgiving Day, and that might be for all the marbles there.
It might very well be. Newhouse has been injured this afternoon for Dallas, a running back. Big part of their attack. It's second down and 7. Now, Stabler is throwing long into the end zone to Branch, incomplete. Luther Bradley covering on the corner.
Well, it's Flag Day here at Oakland Alameda Stadium. Another flag is down, Lindsay. And you see Stabler looking over. Let's check it out. It was on the opposite side of the field where the pass was intended. It's against Detroit.
We'll get it from Ben Dryght, the referee.
Defense, illegal contact, number 50. First down.
So that was Paul Newmouth. Illegal contact on the receiver. That's the chucking rule. First and 10 at the 14-yard line now. First and 10 for the Oakland Raiders. Van Egan. Penalty marker is thrown. Ed O'Neill and Doug English made the stop. There is a marker.
I hope we're not going to be in for this all afternoon.
We were already in for this all afternoon. Illegal motion is the indication.
Been about 8 penalties already in 6.5 minutes of football.
Offense, illegal motion, number 65.
Mickey Marvin.
Mickey Marvin, the right guard, who was caught earlier for holding. Now, you won't see this too much with a team like Oakland, Lindsay. They're a very experienced offensive line.
First and 15.
Unusual.
All right. Harold Hart is out of bounds at the 3-yard line.
I think he's got the first down, and what a block. Gene Upshaw, the all-pro left guard, put on the cornerback out here. Oh, he just wiped out one of the cornerbacks. That play was set up on a great block. Now, you'll see Gene Upshaw come around to the left. I hope we can get him in the screen because he is what makes this play go right here. A beautiful block against Mike Burns, and Whittington cuts inside for the first down. Finally pushed out of bounds by Jimmy Allen.
First down and goal to go at the 3-yard line. First and goal at the 3, a 16-yard pickup by Hart. And now it is dropped by Hart. Little trouble with a handoff there from Stabler. It got loose. Hart was the man for whom it was intended, and Oakland retains possession. Oakland keeps the football.
And it's a little tricky handoff, a little reverse handoff close to the goal line. A little dangerous. Coughs up the football, and very luckily Oakland's got it back. Right here, I think it was a mix-up in the play, Lindsay. Stabler was looking for the handoff on the other side, turned around, and now the ball is free, and very lucky they got it back on about the 2 or 3 yard line. Call it the 3.
Picked up at best to put on the play. That's Hart along the sideline now. Stabler rolling and looking and pumping and throwing incomplete. Threw that one away.
He sure did.
And a penalty marker goes down.
And it was a good call, Lindsay, because he definitely was trying to throw the football away. He threw it 6 feet over the intended receiver, if he was a receiver, and he wasn't, Mark Van Egan.
Stabler was sort of hung up on the wall, and he is being escorted back to the field of play.
He could have hesitated about a fraction of a second more. He would have seen number 87 come free in the end zone. And then it was his all-pro tight end, Dave Castro, did get loose in the end zone.
The intentional grounding call has been made against the Oakland Raiders.
He went the other way.
Personal foul, roughing the quarterback, number 52, first down.
How do you like that? Roughing the quarterback is the call.
Roughing the quarterback. He did release the football. Let it roll on, and we can tell you, I don't see too much roughness there.
So it's not a grounding call, it's a roughness call.
No, it should have been a grounding call. He threw it away on purpose.
And there, he is stacked up right at the goal line.
No signal.
Not in there. Van Egan was stacked up. Mark Van Egan got the call, but did not get in.
John Madden made a trip all the way down to the 20-yard line. Here it is again. Now let's see if his knee hits before he breaks that invisible plane of the goal line. Right here, he starts to go down, and you see his knees did hit. I think it was a good call, Lynn.
Second down, inches to go for the touchdown. Van Egan, touchdown for Oakland. Mark Van Egan took it into the end zone.
Left little doubt about this call. This was just an easy touchdown, and right over the left side again, as Oakland usually does in key situations. Here it is. He's got Whittington in there to help out, and Egan just barrels over for his 6th touchdown of the year.
It is raining more heavily and more steadily here now in Oakland as Arrow Man is under try the conversion.
Got a fourth quarter score. Seattle leads Kansas City by 3, 13-10.
Errolman boots it, and it hits the upright, bounds back, and it's no good. Conversion attempt is no good, and the score is the Oakland Raiders 6 and the Detroit Lions nothing. And we have 7 minutes, 8 seconds remaining to be played in the first quarter here in Oakland, California.
Down in Texas, we have a saying. It's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog. So when you see this little Black & Decker 5.5-inch circular saw in your store, don't be fooled. It's smaller and lighter than other saws, so you can handle it easily. But inside, it's pure teeth. The 5.5er from Black & Decker. Small, light, and very tough.
The new Ford Pinto for $79. A new design for a little American workhorse. New up here, new back here, new in here, and it's loaded. Bucket seats, standard. AM radio and electronic ignition, standard. 2.3-liter engine, standard. Electric rear window defroster, standard. Rack and pinion steering, standard. Front disc brakes, standard. At this low price, the spanking new '79 Pinto at your Ford dealer.
It'll be Ray Guy kicking off now. Kane and Calicut are deep to receive the kickoff in the rain here in Oakland for the Detroit Lions. Going to be high and short, and it is taken at the 16-yard line by Kane. And Kane goes out of bounds near the 25-yard line. We're informed that the roughing the passer penalty was against Dave Washington of the Detroit Lions a moment ago. Derek Ramsey forced Kane out of bounds, and Detroit now starts 1st and 10 at their own 25-yard line.
They really watch the quarterback. Of course, we've had so many injuries in the last couple of years to the quarterback. Richard Todd went out again today with that shoulder injury, so anytime it's a close call, you're going to see a flag thrown roughing the passer.
Bussey and Gaines are the setbacks. Bussey. Penalty markers thrown. At the 32-yard line, Willie Hall made the stop. And now another appearance in the continuing story of Ben Drive, the referee.
Detroit's option.
He's pulling Danielson up to explain it to him.
You want 1st and 5, or you want 2nd and 4?
Defense offside, number 41. It's 1st down.
Phil Villapiano.
Take
1st and 5 at the 30.
I think he's lined up off sides, Lindsey. His head probably is across that line of scrimmage. That's what he was called for.
King and Bussey are the setbacks. Bussey. John Matusak.
What a hit.
Big John, 6'7", 275.
A blown assignment as far as the Detroit Lions are concerned. He wasn't even touched. Made a good hit. They got 275 pounds. When you don't block a guy like Matusak, those backs are in trouble. Right here. That's Hendricks, the offside linebacker.
Second down and 7 yards to go at the 28. David Hill moving over. Bussey at the 33-yard line. Monty Johnson, a 6-year veteran from Nebraska, brought him down.
Bussey's got an opportunity to get 1,000 yards this year, Lindsey. He'll probably go over 700 yards rushing today. Only needs 16 yards. And he's a fine back out of Texas, Arlington. Good size, 6'1", 195 pounds, good quickness. And both of these backs, as we've seen so many teams in the National Football League, first quarter score of the Packers and head of Denver 3-0 on a Chester Markle field goal. But haven't we seen so many teams throw to their backs? Leading receiver in the league, Minnesota's Ricky Young.
3rd down and 2 yards to go. Danielson on 3rd and 2, slips on the cut, gets up, Phil Villapiano has him, and he is down, trying to struggle to the sticks. He had decided to try to run it for the first down, but he slipped on his cut.
You know, it always seems to me that the tackles made on the quarterback are the most vicious. I don't know why. That's always been the mode in the National Football League. Whenever you see a quarterback in trouble, now watch how Villapiano tackles this guy. Wow! He tries to tear his head off, and then he's just struggling, trying to slam him to the turf. And that's with every quarterback. I guess that's the price of making $200,000-300,000 a year.
And now punt formation, and Tom Skladany, who has averaged 42.6, is back to do the kicking. Neil Colsey is deep. 10 men on the line for the Oakland Raiders. Skladany puts it up. Colsey moves up. Ball hits at the 30. He takes it at the 25. Colsey back to the 30 and stopped at the 32-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Oakland Raiders. It was a 40-yard punt by Skladany out of Ohio State. And it was Carl Chandler downfield to make the tackle. We have 4 minutes, 31 seconds left to play in the first quarter. Oakland 6, Detroit nothing.
Introducing a new American road car. The all-new Ford LTD for $79, with more front seat room, more rear seat room, more window area, and more handling ease than last year's LTD. Plus the power of a V8 engine standard. A road car to take you across town or across the country.
This land is your land. This land is my land.
To test drive the all-new LTD on your own roads, see your Ford dealer today.
Give me an Anheuser-Busch Natural Light. Just say natural.
You see, you doesn't have to call it Anheuser-Busch Natural Light, and you doesn't have to call it Anheuser Natural, and you doesn't have to call it Busch Natural. Just say natural.
Johnson's right.
Oh, you can call me Ray, or you can call me Jay, or you can call me...
For a great tasting light beer, just say natural.
You doesn't have to call me Johnson.
2 naturals, please. Don't ask him his name.
My name? You can call me Ray, or you can call me...
Next Saturday on the CBS Sports Spectacular, see highlights of the LA Times 500, plus the world's strongest men competition. You'll say, you saw it on CBS Sports.
The distinctive Mr. Otis Sistrunk, toweling off a little bit.
He scares you just looking at him.
Well, there's people who brought the foul weather gear out for a rainy day in Oakland. 1st and 10 now at the 32-yard line. Leave it on the ground. Whittington struggling to try to get to the 35. He got about 3 on the play to make it 2nd and 7. Tony Dakin made the tackle.
Bears, having lost 8 in a row, are trying to put the win on the board. They won their first 3, lost their next 8. They lead Atlanta 13-7, 4th quarter. Dallas, boy, they could tie it up in their division if they can hold on. They probably will.
Stabler retreating. Pumps once and throws, and it is complete. Penalty marker goes down. Penalty marker goes down as Morris Bradshaw skids along.
Another flag. I hope we got this down in the truck on a replay, because this is what Oakland does better than any pro football team in the business. On their pass patterns, Lindsay, the receivers come back for the football. They're trained that way. It's a rule here, and it is a great, great asset to have. Pick out the penalty first.
Contact. Decline the penalty. That's 1st down.
Here it is again on replay. Now, Morris Bradshaw is lined up to the right. Now, Stabler, as usual, getting the great pass protection, steps up. Now, he has done a little sideline pattern, or even a hook pattern outside, but he came back to the football 5 yards. And this is what Oakland does, I think, better than any team I've ever seen in pro football. Biletnikoff was famous for it.
At the 43-yard line. Charlie Weaver coming to make the tackle along with Al Baker.
And Cleveland, 21-point lead over Baltimore, 4th quarter. Burt Jones did not play in that football game. I think they're going to give him a rest. And a 3-point lead for Seattle over Kansas City, 4th quarter. And the Packers, could they hold on? They'd have a game lead in that NFC Central. And Cincinnati, an early lead, 2nd quarter, shutting out Pittsburgh so far.
Van Egan picks up 1 yard to make it 2nd and 9 at the 44-yard line. Van Egan is carrying, and Van Egan Gets across, very close to the first down as Mike Burns finally brought him down. And take a long look at this one as it is in Detroit territory.
Well, this is what happens when you got such a great left side. They got Casper over there. They've got Shell, a little cross blocking in there. They run to the left more than anything. And Van Egan heading for another 1,000-yard season. 7:49 starting off this football game, as you see right there.
They're bringing the chain out, something you don't see often. They took the ball and spotted it, then looked for the chain. Now they're bringing the ball back to the sideline to measure it where it lay, as it is usually done.
First down.
1st and 10 for the Oakland Raiders. Pickup of 9 yards for Van Egan on the play. Van Egan came into this game today with 749 yards rushing, an average of 4.2 per carry. We're down to 2:47 remaining in the first quarter. Oakland's leading by a score of 6-0. Branch to the left side, Morris Bradshaw to the right side. Whittington to the outside, and he is pulled down at the line of scrimmage by Charlie Weaver.
Weaver voted the most valuable player the last couple of years on defense for the Detroit Lions, and even the great speed. Weaver's quick also. He's 6'2", not too big, 225, but you saw the quickness there and just containing Arthur Whittington from getting to the outside.
2nd down and 10 yards to go for the Oakland Raiders. Whittington and Van Egan are the setbacks. And it's Van Egan. Van Egan to the 40-yard line. O'Neill and Newmoff brought him down.
Well, he took a good shot, and he also delivered a good hit himself. Van Egan with the hard running kept his legs driving, picked up an extra 3. This is good running here. A little draw. Look at the blocking up front. Whittington leading, gets a standoff right here, and he shoved him down. Watch him push Newmoff back 4 yards, and Newmoff's a good hitter. Or was it Ed O'Neill? Ed O'Neill, number 55. Pat Hayden across the bay has thrown a touchdown pass to Lawrence McCutcheon. The Rams lead it 7-0.
3rd down and 3 yards to go now for Oakland. Stabler. And it's complete for the first down. Gathered in by Raymond Chester, the tight end. Raymond Chester spelling Dave Casper in this ball game here today. Weaver and O'Neill made the stop. 1st and 10 for the Raiders. They have the ball at the 27-yard line.
Good action there offensively. Dave Casper, Morris Bradshaw cleared out. Chester came from the weak side to pick up 14 yards in the first down.
Oakland's leading by a score of 6-0. We have 30 seconds remaining to be played in the first quarter. They are doubling Bradshaw and Bryce to the right side. Dennis Van Egan to the 24-yard line. Al Baker in to make the tackle, the young man who has 20.5 sacks coming into today's game.
There it is, a wipeout on the left side here. Good containment by the Detroit Lion defense on the outside, number 50, and that's Paul Newmoff. Forces it back to the inside as the clock runs down to the end of the first quarter.
And so that's the end of the first quarter here at the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum. And the score is Oakland 6 and Detroit nothing.
This is the new Sonar one-step camera from Polaroid. It sends out inaudible sound waves that bounce off the subject and return in a split second. The lens automatically rotates to precise focus, like this. And this.
Look at all the court.
If I had to focus, I would have missed that picture. Sharp, instant pictures in minutes. This close, this far, this quick. Polaroid's new one-step's the world's simplest cameras.
Introducing Kmart 672, a powerful new car battery that's completely maintenance-free. Hook the 672 to this electric winch, and it can pull this 44-ton diesel locomotive, the Kmart 672, packed with power to deliver surefire starts. If it can pull this 44-ton locomotive, you better believe it can start your car. Check it out at most Kmart automotive departments across the USA, where quality auto parts are Kmart priced.
I'll have a natural. You know, the term natural is an appropriate simplification for Anheuser-Busch Natural Light. Sure, because it's simpler. No, because natural, smooth, clean taste results from natural ingredients and slow natural aging. You know, you're very observatory. Here's perfection in the art of brewing, a cultural trait dating back some 8,000 years. Obliviously, you're a man of extinction and dignity. Oh, yeah. Hey, mama, have a natural.
Just say natural.
On a rainy day, one takes shelter where he finds it. And as we start the second quarter, this is Lindsey Nelson with Paul Horning. In the rain, and Oakland, California, second down, 7 yards to go for the Raiders. They have the ball at the 24-yard line of the Detroit Lions, and Oakland's leading by a score of 6-0. Mark Van Egan is the lone setback for Kenny Stabler. Stabler dropping back. Pumps once. Now lost it, and it is taken by Casper. Casper is inside the 10, out of bounds at the 9-yard line. Bruce Rhodes on the tackle, forcing him out.
Beautiful pass by Kenny Stabler. He's reaching down, 15-yard pickup. Casper ran a nice pattern, went up for the football, made a good catch. I tell you, it's beautiful to watch when they give this young man some protection. Stabler knows where his receivers are at all times.
Coming into this game, Stabler had 23 interceptions. His stats this year aren't as good as they have been on some other occasions. There are many people who think that in a tough spot, in a tough football game, they'd as sooner rather have Kenny Stabler running than anybody else. Whittington is carrying. He is upended on the shoulder of Mike Burns out of the University of Southern California.
Well, over the years, I think this team can strike from any distance quicker than any team. Boy, they've seen when they get behind by 3 points, they just march up and down the field so quickly, and especially when you give Stabler an opportunity to move his football team when he has to in the last 2 minutes of the game or 2 minutes of the half. Boy, it's something to watch.
Second down and goal to go for the Raiders at the Detroit 7-yard line. Whittington drove inside the 5 to the 3-yard line, where it'll be third down and goal. Paul Dumoff and Charlie Weaver made the tackle.
As usual, working over that left side. Everybody knows it's coming. I mean, I'm sure Detroit knows that the offense for the left-handed throwing Stabler, even when they run the football, gets right over those two horses on the left, Shell and Upshaw.
This is a 3 tight end alignment as well. And Egan's in the right set, Mark Van Egan. Mark Van Egan, and it is close. Right at the goal line, but no signal. Right at the goal line. It'll be fourth down and inches to go. Fourth and inches for the Oakland Raiders as Van Egan did not quite get in.
Van Egan starts off his left side, keeps good balance, cuts back to the right, and is hit by 3 defenders there, just short of the goal line. And Pete Banaszak, I'm sure, has checked in to that Oakland lineup now.
He has. Banaszak is in and Whittington is out. Fourth down, and they'll go here. Banaszak is the man they like to give it to. Van Egan is in there as well. Van Egan's in the right set, Banaszak in the left. Van Egan, touchdown, Oakland. So the Oakland Raiders took it in.
Upshaw and Shell on the left side again. And Detroit had to know it was coming there. It's just a standoff block, and the fullback does the rest. There they go. It's just man on man. You see the defensive end, Art Shell, he tried to get underneath and submarine him, as they say, and Egan got his head over. Another look right off the left side. Pete Banaszak takes care of the middle linebacker, Ed O'Neill, and Van Egan struggles in for his second score this afternoon.
Conversion attempt coming now, and it's Errol Mann in to attempt it. David Humm puts it down. It is booted up, and this time it's good. And so with 12 minutes, 58 seconds remaining to be played in the first half of this game, the Oakland Raiders are leading the Detroit Lions by a score of 13-0.
This fresh egg is going to help us sell this brand new Free Flex shoe from Freeman. Watch. you can do it with any new Freeman Freeflex. See Freeman shoes at fine stores everywhere.
Hey, listen, if you're a mild-mannered soul like me, Dick Butkus, you'll really go for a Ford van, because this baby's built tough. With tough body-on-frame construction, cushioned by rubbered mounts. And Ford's out-front engine design means easy move-around room inside. So Ford's the right game plan, whether you're working it or just going out to play games. Right, Coach?
Right, Dick.
That's my kind of coach.
Ford's got all kinds of vans right now at your Ford dealers.
Ray Guy is taking the ball up on the 35-yard line to kick it off for the Oakland Raiders. And the Detroit Lions have brought back Rick Kane and Ken Callicutt to receive it. Natural turf here at the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum. The scoring drive there for the Oakland Raiders. Ray Guy, high trajectory kick. Kane at the 13, 15, 20, 25. Ran into his own man. As a matter of fact, he ran up his back at the 35-yard line. It was Ken Callicutt who was in front of him.
And he had some running room. He only had one man to beat back then. Rick Kane, you can see, is a little disgusted there. A couple of quick scores. Lindsey, Dallas controls New Orleans with 3 minutes and 53 seconds to go in the football game. Staubach scored one. Tony Dorsett scored one. Staubach threw a touchdown pass. It's been all Dallas since the first quarter.
Gary Danielson brings him up. He's got King and Bussey as his running backs, and he is moving over. David Hill to the left side.
27-7 Dallas.
Danielson. And it is taken across in Oakland territory at the 45-yard line. A diving catch for Fred Scott from Amherst. Jack Tatum was the defender.
Markers down, and they're walking back.
So it is against the Detroit Lions since the football has been picked up and is being returned. Tatum is engaged in conversation meanwhile. Momentarily we will hear from Ben Dreith, who has the largest speaking part of the afternoon.
Offensive holding, number 62, 6'2".
That's Lynn Bodine. Ball goes back to the 25-yard line, and it is first down and 20 yards to go. Still King and Bussey for Danielson. Danielson throws a screen left, and it's taken by King. King is out to the 30 and stopped at the 33-yard line. Picked up 8 yards on the screen left. Charles Phillips made the tackle. There are the penalties for the afternoon so far, totaling 8.
Seems like more than that. Speaking of more, they're putting a lot of points on the board in Baltimore at 38-24 in favor of Cleveland, with 10 minutes still to go in that football game. Calvin Hill has scored 3 touchdowns today for Cleveland.
Second down, 12 yards to go. Danielson throwing and overthrew his intended receiver, who was Luther Blue. 3rd and 12 out to 33.
Danielson
Hayes covered.
was 2 out of 4 today, as the font shows, but the last 6 games he has really been a consistent quarterback, and that's something I think the Detroit Lions. I always wondered why Greg Landry really didn't make it over the top. When he first came into the league, Lindsey, I thought he was going to be really one of the great quarterbacks in the National Football League, but I don't know why. He's a fine gentleman. He's smart, but something always happened with the Detroit Lion offense. Now it's Gary Danielson's turn to see if he can turn the franchise around.
Danielson. This time it is completed. Taken by Fred Scott. He was trying to get up to the sticks now, and it appears that he's a little bit short. Lester Hayes, the defender.
Freddie Scott runs a good pattern here. It's a little turn-in pattern. He comes back for the football, and he knows just about, he's close to that first down yardage. There it is. Got to get over that yard strike. Now he has the first down here, and he's going to come back for the football. Now he realizes that he does not have the first down. He must get past the 45-yard line. He struggles. Now watch him put the football up. Not quite. They're going to move it back. Fourth down.
And the punter comes in. Tom Skladany is in to do the punting, and Neil Colsey has dropped back to receive it for the Oakland Raiders. Hits at the 26. Albino return, and it is bounding near the 15, and it'll start 1st and 10. The Oakland Raiders at their own 15-yard line. That was a 41-yard punt for Skladany.
Well, it's official.
But there is a penalty marker on the play.
Again. On the punt, one of those interior linemen probably came downfield. It's official now, Lindsey. Dallas has beaten New Orleans 27-7, and that sets up that big Thanksgiving Day game in Dallas, seen right here on CBS. Both teams, the Washington Redskins and Dallas, go into that Thanksgiving Day game with identical records of 8-4.
An eligible man downfield, 31 on a kicking team.
And Calicut.
Only the outside men can go down before the ball is booted. Calicut win in advance, and so he'll come back and do it all over again with a 5-yard penalty having been inflicted. Skladany again in deep punt formation, and Neil Cosby is still deep for the Oakland Raiders.
He's having a good year punting, too. He's averaging over 42 yards. Beauty.
Trajectory kick. Cosley at his 17 to the 20. The Ohio Stater is stopped at the 23-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 now. It was a 44-yard punt for Skladany, and Thompson made the tackle. So with 10:37 left in the first half, 13-0 Oakland.
Surprise! It's me, Ali, up here in Alaska to tell you how motorcraft parts from Ford were tested tough. Motorcraft heavy-duty batteries tough as these were tested in all kinds of nasty weather on 50 cars and trucks from Ford, GM, and Chrysler. After 6 months, not one motorcraft battery went bad. Motorcraft batteries, they have the stuff. Motorcraft parts are tested tough.
From Miami to Oakland, they're coming to play.
Beer makes it
anybody
good.
need a Schlitz?
There's no debate.
Beer makes it good. Schlitz makes it great.
11 million times a day, America reaches for a Schlitz.
Sorry
I'm late. Who cares? This might be the best game we ever missed.
When you're out of Schlitz, you're out of beer. Schlitz makes it great.
NFL action begins next Sunday with the NFL Today, followed by a full slate of regional games. You'll say, you saw it on CBS Sports.
Monty Clark is returning to the Bay Area this afternoon. He was formerly the head coach, of course, of the 49ers. 1st and 10 for the Raiders. They have the ball at their own 23-yard line. Van Egan, penalty marker is thrown. Van Egan got to the 27-yard line. Ed O'Neill brought him down, but there is a marker on the play. Holding against the Oakland Raiders. That'll cost them 10.
Let them play.
Offensive holding, number 78.
Archell, John Madden. John Madden has donned a cap here this afternoon against the Elements. A moment ago, he was wearing sort of a rain jacket, but he shed that in favor of his usual costume. Oakland's been penalized 6 times for 45 yards. Detroit 5 times for 33 yards so far. 11 penalties in the game. And a slip there for Van Egan. John Woodcock from Hawaii was on the tackle.
Oh, got good penetration that time from his defensive right tackle position. There he is, number 77, John Woodcock.
He's played well for the Detroit Lions this year. Second down and 21 yards to go with the ball back there at the 12-yard line. And his Stabler brings him up, and he's got Morris Bradshaw on a wide right. Franks is on a wide left. Instead it's Whittington carrying, and Whittington cannot get outside Charlie Weaver, and Weaver brings him down.
Solid defense that time by the Lions. Charlie Weaver would not be blocked, and a good tackle on the speedster from SMU. It's a final now. The Bears have upset Atlanta 13-7. That takes a lot of the wind out of Atlanta's sails. They were hoping for a playoff, and that loss really hurt. Bears breaking an 8-game losing streak.
Third down and 22 at the 11-yard line. And try to sweep to Whittington. Well, it's a one-hand pull down by Ed O'Neill, the middle linebacker from Penn State. And the punting unit's coming on now for the Oakland Raiders.
Across the bay, it's tied up. Rams 7-49ers 7. Paul Hofer scored on a 1-yard run to tie it up for San Francisco.
Ray Guy's in there to do the punting now, and drop back is Fred Scott. Fred Scott there to receive the punt.
Steady rain here in Oakland.
Ray Guy booms it out of there.
Does he?
Scott has it at the 33, 35, fumbles the ball, and at the 32-yard line, Oakland has the ball at the 32.
Average kick for Ray Guy, 53 yards. The last 2 weeks, he's averaged over 50 yards punting. And here he is. He booms one for 53, and it's going to be Oakland's football.
John Huddleston.
RCA announces a major improvement in video cassette recording. Introducing Selectavision 400. Set it today, and for the next 7 days, the 400 remembers the shows you want recorded. It'll turn itself on and off up to 4 times, even change channels. Selectavision 400, the 4-hour video cassette recorder with the 7-day memory.
Let RCA turn your television into Selectavision.
Fred, we got a new page 1 here.
Making sure the news gets out is what my job's about. Now it's all behind. Got blue ribbon on my mind. I've got Pabst blue ribbon on my mind. More and more lately I find
the premium taste of Pabst. It's a lot to look forward to.
I've got Pabst blue ribbon on my mind.